Good afternoon, um, evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello. Great having you here. And I can see straight away that there are already people connected. This is amazing. Um, it was a bit challenging to set it all up here in the new surroundings as I am in Southern California at the moment, in Los Angeles, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, and it's raining. It's just absolutely unbelievable and slightly unexpected. So if you hear some kind of funny noises in the background, it's raindrops falling on I don't know what, some metal roof, or I don't know what's behind me. But I hope it's not too bad. It's just so beautiful to see you all. Hello to England. Hello to London. Thank you so much for commenting on my book, Paul. That's really lovely. It's such a really lovely community here, and there are quite a few people. So that's brilliant. Hello, Venetia. Wonderful having you here. Thank you so much for hosting the book launch in London last week, the week before. So about yeah, almost 2 weeks ago. I completely lost track of time recently, and I'm really badly jet lagged still. So it's a bit odd, but it's getting there. I probably look a bit jet lagged, but that hopefully is not a deterrent from following. Let's just see. And Vinisha, thank you for yes, reminding everybody to like and to subscribe to the channel, because that means that you will get an automatic notification when there's a new video or when there is a new live show. And I hope you're all on the mailing lists, one or the other. If you are not, you can join the mailing list through our new website, well, extended website, thereikirevolution.com. And it's just so wonderful having you all here. And I recently, well, I've spoken to a lot of people here, which is just great. It's so different from my last visit in Los Angeles, and I've actually got this episode in my new book because it was just so, uh, I don't know, almost depressing. There was just nothing going on. I was here for 3 months. I hardly met anybody. Nobody was remotely interested in Reiki. Well, with one or two exceptions, but there was just very, very little from what I had hoped for. And this time it's just so different. I've just been here a few days. I met so many people already, and I'm very excited. We don't have the exact date yet, but probably on Wednesday, I think it's the 29th of March, we'll be launching the book in Los Angeles in a beautiful showroom and gallery in West Hollywood. So I will send an invitation to everybody. So if you happen to live in this beautiful place in the world, or if you happen to visit, then you are very, very warmly welcome to the American book launch. So this is happening already, and I really feel that there is more momentum in what we are doing, and we really need to do something. So I did uh, mention or quote the argument. Well, argument is probably not the right word, but tense conversation I had with my guides, because there was one thing I didn't want to put in my book, and that was anything about timing. They made very clear that if we do not act now as humankind, if we do not bring in necessary changes into our lives and into the world, there is a too late. And for me, that was very much about the doom mongers in the world, about sects telling everybody to, I don't know, to sell all their belongings and stand in an open field waiting for the end of the world. And that never happened. But of course, looking at the state of the world, looking at threats we have at the push of a button or a few buttons, we can destroy civilization, we can destroy the world as we know it and make this planet uninhabitable. And if we don't press the button, then the kind of slow motion of this process is already very, very obviously started when we look at the destruction of the environment, when we look at the climate catastrophe that we are seeing all around. So there is something that needs to change. And it's my very, very strong belief. And this is what my guides told me, that we can change things. With our healing hands, with our connection to the universe, we can change the world by making it a better place. Once we make the world a better place, everybody will have a better life. And by experiencing a better life, we will not need the nastiness, the edginess, the thrill from doing bad things, because we get the thrill out of the joy, the nature, the love we experience every single day. And what we may have wanted to experience, edginess, the opposite of love, the opposite of happiness, we really had our fair share. Not just in this life, but we did in this life. And otherwise, none of you would be watching if you didn't have your fair share in experiencing the troubles that life can bring. But we've had it for centuries, we've had it for millennia. And we can go into any past life and we can experience how we've suffered. We can go into any history book and we understand how much mankind, humankind, has suffered already. So it's just so obvious. All the information is there. We don't need it anymore. And this is really what we need to understand. We don't need to suffer. I've, for myself, had enough of that, and I'm very, very certain you as well, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. But we can do this together. We can bring this change together. And Reiki is the help. Reiki is the tool that we can use. What it's all about is about love. And in order to share love, we need to find our love. We need to find the love within. We need to love ourselves. So we need to find the core of love, which we hold within. So once we feel love and we know that we are connected to the universe, then we can start sharing this. And for me, Reiki is a huge, huge step on this journey. So the idea of the Reiki revolution basically is to share it with as many people as possible. And I had some really interesting conversations. When was it? On Saturday, I was invited to some early dinner drinks. Something new, something that I've learned here in Europe, at least where I normally, in the circles I mingle, when you're invited, whether it's at 6 or at 8, you basically stay. You stay until you are thrown out or until you want to go home. And here it's like 6 to 8, and people then come at 6 and they leave at 8. So it was one of these gatherings. And I spoke with a professor from Chicago, professor of teaching history. And that was really interesting. She was very interested in Reiki, in learning more about Reiki, but very, very both skeptic and hesitant. So this basically reminded me how important it is to find a way, to find a connection, find a bridge with people when we explain Reiki to them. And this is what I thought we could do today. We could just look at some ways of communicating about Reiki. I'm just looking at some more comments, and at the moment there are none, so that's great. So if you do have any comments, I'm looking at that. So if my kind of eye wanders, it's normally looking at the comments at the chat bar and engage in a conversation. So there are different ways to start a conversation. Either you go into a room, you meet people and say, "Hi, I'm wherever you are, and I'm practicing Reiki," which is probably not normally what we would do. But it does happen when we come back straight from a Reiki workshop, from a Reiki course, from a Reiki session, and we just can't stop sharing the experiences. So you may just want to you may have this experience that you just walk into a room and tell people there that you just had a Reiki, been on a Reiki course and it was amazing, you felt so much and so on. But at some stage, it's very much about what is Reiki. So the most basic information about Reiki is that it is an energy healing modality, or an energy healing therapy, or a complementary therapy. Already there it differs quite a bit. But generally, I think that's a a great starting point. And many people are very open to complementary therapies. They've had massage, they've had acupuncture, they've had osteopathy or homeopathy or something like that. So a lot of people are open to that. Some people are not. Some people are kind of immediately closing down, say, okay, I don't really believe in that. So then we need to go into a bit more kind of scientific direction. But really, when we say something like Reiki is an energy healing modality that says everything and nothing. So you may want to explain a bit more what Reiki means for you. And I think that's always a very good starting point. If you tell people about what Reiki is, I would normally start with, unless it's a very, very long and complicated story, I would start with, how did you find Reiki? And in many cases, people had a Reiki treatment. So you may say, well, I had a Reiki treatment, and actually, I didn't really believe in something like this. And I was just amazed, gobsmacked, shocked that I could feel something. So Reiki is a hands healing, a palm healing modality. And what you do is you just place your hands on somebody else or even on yourself. And the people who receive Reiki tend to find something. They tend to find warmth. They sometimes feel some kind of flow of energy. So they feel a physical effect. And this is already quite reassuring that there's something going on. It's in no way manipulative. So we do not manipulate the body as in massage, as in osteopathy. You do not need to take anything. It doesn't come with any drugs or something like that. And the hands can be placed on the body or even slightly away. So this is, I think, a good introduction to Reiki. Then you can say that people tend to feel calmer afterwards. So it is a stress-reducing modality. But also, it significantly reduces the pain. And at some stage, you may even ask whether somebody has a problem at the moment, or whether they just want to experience Reiki. And then you can simply place your hand on your shoulders or so, on their shoulders, and you don't need to explain Reiki much further then. But in many instances, you can't really just touch another person straight away. So you want to talk a little bit more about Reiki. So people can feel something. And there are effects, and the effects are always healing, calming, stress reducing. And this is why it is used in over 800 hospitals in the United States. And I tend to find this needs to be sneaked in at some stage, because that immediately puts Reiki on a different level. If 800 hospitals in the United States are open to having Reiki practitioners there, it means that, well, at least there's nothing wrong with Reiki. In the UK, I tend to say that Reiki is accepted within the NHS. And at the Reiki Science Academy, in London, we teach approved courses so that people can work within the NHS. So this often puts people's mind a little bit at rest. But then we kind of start getting into, what does it actually do? How does Reiki work? And this is something, there's a question about how many hospitals in the UK. I'm actually not so sure. It's definitely in double digits, but I wouldn't be able to put a figure on it at present, because there is no roof organization. It's often local practitioners who who offer their volunteering services to the hospitals, and then they get in or not, but there is no kind of general register for people who work in hospitals. But then the question is, of course, so how does Reiki work? And this is a difficult question. I tend to say that Reiki seems, or you may leave out the seam, it stimulates the body's self-healing abilities. Because after all healing is self-healing. A doctor cannot heal you. They can give you drugs that change things in the body, and then the body can heal itself. They can do surgery, take things out, mend things, put bones back together, but then the actual healing needs to be done by the body. So healing is always self-healing, and Reiki stimulates the body's self-healing abilities. When you have an open wound and when it heals, the negative ions increase. So this is an autoimmune response. This is a healing response of the body. And this has been measured when Reiki is given to somebody. So when you place your hand on, it looks a bit funny as I do that, but when you place your hand on somebody's shoulder, the negative ions increase. So healing starts. And this has been researched. Talking about research, there are over 100 scientific studies, papers, peer-reviewed papers published on the effects of Reiki. And so there is a body of evidence. There is a very good book by Anne Baldwin, Reiki in, I think it's called Reiki in Clinical Settings. And this gives a great overview of the clinical research. And we will talk with some researchers soon on this program, so that we can go more into this. Because what I found so fascinating is that Anne was originally experimenting with rats. And they were in a laboratory, in a research facility. And then they moved the location. And the next laboratory was next to a very busy road. And they couldn't compare the blood samples anymore, because there was suddenly a change. There was a very high level of stress hormones, and they wondered how to get the stress hormones done. And Anne, as a professor, had I think, secretary or a co-worker who had learned Reiki, and she suggested to give Reiki to the rats. So they did that, and they could measure that the stress hormones significantly reduced. So there is this body of research that can be mentioned. What exactly it does is very difficult to say. We are energy. We vibrate. But even we, as a physical being vibrate on different levels. So the heart has a certain rate, a certain vibrational level, and every organ has that. And then our whole body has these vibrations, and we feel a lot of energy. So they go up and down. And Reiki is known to influence this. So we can say that there has been a lot of research into the fact that Reiki can influence the body's uh, energetic vibrations, most prominently the heart rate. And when you work as a practitioner in a hospital, many work in intensive care units. And if you do, you can see all the monitors and you can see while you give Reiki how the heart rate evens out. So it does have an effect on this, a very significant effect. But, and this now, of course, becomes a bit more complicated. We are multi-dimensional beings. We are holistic beings. We don't just have a body, we have a mind. And the body often reacts to the mind. So when we're happy, the body feels stronger and has more energy. So there's a connection. And Reiki works, and this can really only be experienced on these different vibrational levels, on our perspective, perception of life, whether we feel more peaceful or agitated. And indeed, when we feel Reiki, we feel a connection. Whether we call it a connection to universal energy, or whether we say it's a connection to higher levels in the universe, a meditative experience or a spiritual experience. We may even say we see colors and we feel like floating, almost as if we don't completely identify with our body anymore. I'm realizing while I say this that these are lots of different aspects. And of course, we need to kind of fine tune these things a little bit when we talk to individual people. And I've been talking for 15 minutes or so on the subject now. So you may need to bring it down to 5. What I would actually suggest at some stage is after today's show to sit down and to watch it again and just see what resonates most with you and make a few points. Just write down the few key points of how you would like to explain Reiki to others. I'm so sorry. This itchy again. I always said that when I'm on the show. Um, But there's also one additional aspect of help that I would like to show you. And I hope it's going to work because there has already question. There has already been a question about the water research that I've done a few years ago. And I would like to share now the screen. I hope it's going to work. And show the research that I have put on the Reiki Revolution website. So let's just see how that works. I now need to go to share screen and share the screen. So I hope you can see this. And what you should see is the Reiki Revolution website. So I'm just a little bit unsure whether this all works. Let's just see and go there again. Could somebody please leave a comment and tell me whether it actually worked, what I just tried, sharing the screen. Just going to wait for that for a second because there is a short time delay normally. So if somebody could just leave a comment and say whether they could just have seen. You can just see, cannot see it. Well, let's just see how that works. Okay, so I'm going to try it once more and then let's just see. So share screen. Let's just see if you can see something on there. Just wait for a moment because I've been told this is how to do it. Okay, so yes, it should work. So I'm going to just scroll up and down a little bit. This is the reikirevolution.com, so our main website. And I've been reworking it together with my wonderful videographer, Ryan, recently. And there was a introduction to what the Reiki Revolution is, and there will be coming more. And there will be some more latest news. And you find this tab, the scientific proof of Reiki. So I'm just checking again. You should be able to see it and you should be able to hear me. Marvelous. So this is a slider and you can go into that on your smartphone and you can show someone that this is the structure of Swiss tap water under a microscope. The rectangular shapes, the straight lines, the 90-degree angles show that the water has been artificially cleansed and was at some stage polluted, and now it is drinkable, but the information is still there. And after an hour of Reiki, it shows this incredible transformation to star-shaped, starfish-shaped, or natural shaped crystals. And they have 60-degree angles. And this is what you find in natural spring water. So within an hour of a Reiki treatment, the quality changes significantly. Of course, we are 70, 80, 90% water. So depending on our age and where we stand in life and our lifestyle, we've got a higher or less water content, but the majority of our body mass is always water. So that means that if people realize this, they can visualize, looking at this, what happens in our body. And this is really what I want to put out there as a tool. So you can just get your smartphone and whenever you have a conversation, next, say, this has been scientifically proven. And then you can click through. There is a button, find out more. And I hope it's going to work. It's going to work. So you can see this is not the world's first scientific proof of Reiki. There was more proof before. It's the world's first scientific proof that Reiki works on different vibrational levels. And it talks about the research project. It mentions the Hagales Institute in Switzerland, and it tells more about the whole project. So it shows me sitting in this laboratory giving Reiki to a sample bottle of water. It shows the microscope and that it's done under a microscope. And on the right-hand side, you can read about the method. It explains the neutral sample of the tap water and then the transformation. Simple Reiki, just Reiki for 60 minutes, and the water improved to this level. Using the power symbol, I put in an image of a slightly lower magnification so that people can see that it goes deep inside the sample under the microscope. So basically the whole physical body is changing. And when we use the harmony symbol, it's only on the edges. It's the same level of improvement in the quality, but it's only at the edges. So it's almost like it wants to show it's not about the body, the physicality, it's about reaching out. And this is what we feel. We feel we are part of a bigger picture. We feel we are connected to the universe. We get guidance and intuition. This is what the harmony symbol stands for, and this is what this research shows. So this is what you can share. And then there is the next level, the connection level, which is the biggest crystals, and they touch, they overlap, which is something that you don't find as much when you look at the power symbol, but here everything is really big, really reaching out. And this is now a tool that you can access when you want to show scientific proof to people. Science, however, is not just under a microscope. Science can also be done through um, what's it called? Through uh, getting a body of evidence and individual answers. So we can do surveys and we can just ask so and so many people how they felt after Reiki. And this is, again, scientific proof. And this is also, just going to go back now, on the website. So if you go further down, there is the large-scale survey that we did in 2022, and over 1,000 Reiki students, Reiki practitioners took part. This is a very significant number. It's a statistically significant number. And on the first page already, you can see some of the research, some of the questions of the survey. And the first question here is, has Reiki improved your physical health? And the green side says yes, slightly, and that's 46%. And the blue part is responses saying yes, greatly, and that's also 46%. So it's kind of a little bit less than 46. So together it's 91%. 91% of people who learned Reiki said learning Reiki and using Reiki on themselves has improved their physical health. And this is extraordinary. So this is something that can't be overlooked. And the best thing is that it was an anonymous survey. So nobody was pressured into anything. So these are honest answers. And then the next one in the middle is the question, has Reiki improved your mental well-being, stress reduction, outlook of life, learning to deal with difficulties, depression? And 95% in the survey have said, yes, Reiki improved their mental well-being. So we just put the three kind of main categories there. And the third one then is, and this is, of course, something I'm sure why you are here as well, has Reiki deepened your spiritual understanding? And 93% said, yes, it has. There will be, well, there's a button already, but it leads to a page that at the moment is still under construction. So you will get access to, I think, 15 or 20 different questions of from the survey of how Reiki impacts people's lives simply by learning it. And just to add that, you can then scroll down further. At the moment, there is the episode on there from 2 weeks ago, so you have access to different episodes and different videos on the channel. There are my books. There is access to Reiki training. So if you want to suggest to learn Reiki online, you can do that as well. And there is one addition here, which we just need to link to the actual course. There's a Reiki 1 course here at a significantly reduced price, and it's called Reiki in 8 hours. It is very, very comprehensive. It can be done over a whole week or every day, and 8 hours is just the video time. So once you add the exercises, then it's much longer. But it's a very comprehensive introduction to Reiki, so everybody can learn Reiki straight away. And finally, there is the sound healing. So you have access to the sound healing for the power symbol and for the harmony symbol, and you can join the mailing list. So this is what we've got on the Reiki Revolution website at present. And I'm just going to take that back. So I hope that worked. So this is now a new tool that you have. You can simply take your smartphone, put in the reikirevolution.com, and then you have it on the smartphone and you just scroll up and there's the oopsala, that's it, the scientific proof of Reiki, and then there is the slider. Oops. And you can just go to one side and the other side. And this is really what I wanted. This was the whole idea be for the research, to get something. Thank you, Venetia, the ReikiRevolution.com. To get something that is visual, that we can see on social media, where we can see the before and after straight away, and something that is relatable. So this, for me, at the moment, is the most helpful tool that I'm also using when I try to explain Reiki. Because when it comes to water, we don't really need to explain much more. There is definitely no placebo effect. It is water, so it's not a human being. And therefore, it's not about having this lovely encounter with a Reiki practitioner. This is sitting in a laboratory and just placing the hands on a bottle of water. So this is why, this is uh, um, what makes it so believable and so scientific. So this is what I would suggest, how to explain Reiki to others. And yet, there will always be some people who find it's too shallow, the scientific approach. And yes, it's not rocket science. And I'm not a nuclear physicist or something like that, quantum physicist. In fact, I'm trying to understand quantum physics a bit better at the moment, and I'm doing some research into that and see how that overlaps with Reiki. Of course, it's ultimately almost the same, but as a non-scientist in this field, it's very, very difficult to explain. I'm a political scientist, so I can explain the effect Reiki has on us as people, as individuals, and how when we change, this has an effect on other people. So this is politics. This is society. So Reiki can have an effect on society. But I just wanted to share one story. I just love it so much. Years ago, I met at a family gathering a distant cousin. And he asked me straight away, so Torsten, explain me, what is Reiki? And I thought, okay, so he's a scientist. He's a very renowned uh, physicist. So I thought, okay, I need to go into something more scientific. So I started somewhere with quantum physics and the idea that everything's connected. And he really quite harshly interrupted me and said, well, I really don't like when people uh, talk about something they don't understand. Okay. I thought, okay, I'm caught. So I stopped that and thought, so how do I explain Reiki to somebody who really is not open to any scientific way of explaining it, because they think they are the real scientists? At that time, I didn't have the water research, so now it could be easier, but then I'm not so sure if he accepts this method, because that's an interesting thing. Different scientists have different ideas, and often they argue and they question what the other researchers do. So it's not that there's just one kind of scientific field. So I said, well, actually, you're here with your girlfriend, aren't you? First time I'd met her. And I said, so why did you bring her? Did you bring her because she is special to you? There is something you feel between the two of you that you don't feel with someone else. Would you, what you feel call love? And what's the situation about scientific research into love? And he stopped and looked at me and said, I like that answer. So sometimes we just know that things are there. We know that things work and love works. We can feel love, and we can feel when other people are in love, when other people um, uh, approach us with love rather than fear. So, how do we measure that? It is impossible. So to a certain degree, maybe we'll need to accept that Reiki is in this category as well. We can't explain everything about Reiki, but we can experience everything about Reiki. We can experience Reiki just as we experience love. And this makes it so special. So this is what I wanted to share. I hope you find it helpful. And I did get some ideas what I wanted to bring across. But when I actually did it, I realized that I can't just do one thing or the other. I just have to show these kind of different approaches. And a combination of experience, hands-on Reiki, what Reiki did for you, or what Reiki did for somebody around you you've given Reiki to, your dog, a good friend, a Reiki client. So you can say, well, recently I had a client, I met somebody and they had this or that problem, were in great pain. I gave them Reiki and the pain was reduced, or they were in hospital and the hospital staff were surprised how quickly they healed, things like that. So a personal story is what I would bring in there. Offer Reiki so they get an experience and add some of the Reiki research, the body of Reiki research that is there. And we have this now, we have the access to that, and you probably have all a smartphone, so you can have all this information on the go. And over time, we are putting more and more information on the Reiki Revolution website. And the blog will have regular information. When I get over my jet lag completely in the next few days, I will be posting regular stories there, regular research, feedback. So if you have something you want to share, please email it and we can put it on the blog. So really share information and encouragement, more research, so that more and more people will hopefully be interested in Reiki. And once people learn it for themselves, once people experience it for themselves, I don't think there is a way back. We are just convinced. We are converted, and this is what the Reiki Revolution is all about. So yes, and Monique just says Reiki revived her computer that went black and wouldn't turn on. So either some very very practical things. I wouldn't probably start with stories like that because this makes it a bit unbelievable, too good to be true. And yet, of course, we know that Reiki works on all these different levels. And this is also why we're here, to share Reiki and to set another week of Reiki in motion and start connecting. And this is what I would like to invite you to now, to join in a Reiki share. And just one more thing, because I just had uh, got a comment on that. I'm afraid the Reiki Revolution website is a little bit more work in progress than I hoped it would be. So I'm going to work on it for the rest of the day and make sure that the links are in there for the actual training. I'm not so sure why it didn't get live. It's probably just one button that we need to push, or it's something that we need to relink. But I'm going to work on this later today. So by tomorrow, the links should be live. And then over the next few days, there'll be more information about the survey on the website as well. And step by step, we are adding to it. Yes, so let's start. Let's start sharing Reiki. So when you're ready, if you just want to bring your hands together and connect to Reiki. And just take a moment to feel your direct connection to Reiki, to the universe, to higher levels in the universe, whatever you want to call it. And then when you're ready, just open your hands and set your intention that you are now connecting with everybody on this Reiki share. Everybody who is taking part right now in the live streaming, and everybody who is going to take part in a replay later on. You may want to utilize the connection symbol. Just draw the symbol and set your intention that you're connecting with everybody on this Reiki share. And then just relax. Just lean back and let Reiki flow. You may just feel the flow of Reiki from your hands, sharing Reiki with everyone. And then sense inside and realize that you are receiving Reiki from so many people at the same time. And you may want to sense inside or ask inside for a moment, what is my biggest problem? What do I need to help? What do I need Reiki to help with? And then set your intention that Reiki may help you with just this. You may just sense inside and see how you feel in your body. And then see how you feel in your mind. And then you can slowly come back into the here and now. Take a moment to bring your hands together and thank Reiki. And then, when you're ready, open your eyes again. This is so beautiful to not just be able to facilitate this, but to be part of that and to feel the energy from everybody. It's just absolutely amazing. So, thank you for joining. And I look forward to seeing you next week. I'm not entirely certain what exactly we'll be doing. It will either be a guest or it will be something very experiential, and we'll do some exercises together. And I've got two more things before I go and leave you to the rest of the day or the evening. One is this is some effort. The website and the YouTube channel, working with a videographer and so on. And it's not the time, there's also some money involved. And YouTube has, I think, quite recently started something new, which is called memberships. And you will find when you watch this under the image or under the actual video, you will find a button like and subscribe. And you'll find another button, join. And when you click on that, you will find three different categories of memberships, and it starts at £2.99 a month. So that is something like $4 or so a month. And that can be stopped at any time. But it would mean that you would help us with this channel, keeping it all free and bringing more and more content on this channel. So if you are able to support us, this would be absolutely amazing. Whatever level suits you, or the description is in there. So just do have a look at this, please. And another thing, I'm not now getting up to get my book; it's over there. But if you haven't ordered a copy of the book, there is a way, the Reiki Revolution. I would really suggest doing that at some stage. It is primarily a workbook, but there is a lot of background information about the setup of the universe, and much of this was channeled to me. And over the next few months, we'll be looking at aspects of the science behind this with some guests on this show as well. But then there are about 100 exercises. How do you feel today? Depleted. So there is something about more energy. How do you feel today? Down. There is something about self-love in there. So there are lots of exercises that you can use, that you can repeat again and again, and every time it will go deeper and it will be another aspect that you will explore. And you may at some stage just say, Reiki, just guide me. What shall I work on today? And then just open the book and see what page comes up, whether it's a particular exercise or whether it's a particular piece of information. And I am quite confident uh, promoting this book and really asking you to use it, because this is not my book. The content has been to a very huge degree channeled, and so I know this is what needed to be brought into the world, and I'm just very grateful that it's finally out and starting to do some work, and I'm very pleased pleased to well, but pleased to hear the comments on it. And there's just a question saying, can we do one-off donations? You actually can. It's not on the website at present. And thank you for reminding me. I'm going to put this on the website today. So tomorrow there'll be a button that you can make one-off donations to the Reiki Revolution as well, so that our work is supported. There is quite some background work involved in all this as well, on all the applications. So they are not for free. So that would be really helpful if you wanted to support. And that's it for today. Thank you so very much. It's been such a pleasure sharing, and it still feels a bit surreal doing this from California, especially in this weather. But I'm sure the weather will improve. I'm sure it will improve everywhere. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. If you are in London, if you are in the UK, all the courses are carrying on. My wonderful colleague Rupert Fawcett is running the courses at the moment, but I'm going back and forth, so I'll be there very regularly as well. And you can find the information about the live courses in London on reikiscienceacademy.com. So with this, have a wonderful evening, wonderful rest of the day, and thank you so much for joining. And now let's just see again whether I can find the final button. There we go. Bye bye.